Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the ZapSec Modernization Series. My name is Carl Schneider, Vice President at ZapSec, and I'm joined by Devender Singh, who is our Principal Cloud Architect. So, Devender, I want to paint a picture here. Let's say a company just closed an acquisition, and the board expects technology synergies within 12 months. Their first instinct is to merge cloud tenants. And that instinct is almost certainly wrong, and acting on it is the single most common reason M&A technology integrations blow past their timelines and budgets.
Right, Carl. So I have been called in multiple times to remediate post-merger integrations in the past 2 years, and a substantial number of those started with a tenant merge on day one. And trust me, every single one of them was behind schedule when we engaged.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So the default playbook is here. I want you to go through and talk about that and what actually happens.
Right. So the default playbook is straightforward, right? Merge the acquired company's AWS accounts into the parent organization, or if it is Azure environment, then consolidate Azure subscriptions into the parent tenant. One environment is simply better than the two, right? It always follows same standards. It sounds logical,
It does sound logical, but let's get through what actually happens.
right? So IAM policies. So first point is that IAM policies conflict because IAM or security policies conflict. The acquired company's roles collide with the parent company's permission boundaries, and if it is
Hmm.
Azure-based environment, tenant consolidations creates managed identity problems during the migration if it is not planned and documented, right?
Hmm.
Next one is which typically don't people don't pay attention to is checking the network side ranges for overlaps. Both companies typically what we see is that use 10.0.0/16 because everyone uses this side range by default.
Right, right.
And then comes the security tools, right? Security tools lose visibility into the acquired environment during transition, right? So that's one of the losses that happens.
Hmm.
And the next one is compliance certifications. The acquired company holds becomes invalid because the environment that they certified no longer exists in the audited configuration. So that
Right.
recertification also has to go through, right? And last is the blast radius of the misconfiguration during the merge affects both environments simultaneously because it compromises both environments.
Right, right. And from the board's perspective, the pressure is speed, right? Speed to value. The deal was approved based on projected synergies with a specific timeline, but rushing the technical integration creates the exact risks that destroy the synergy value, the outages that affect the revenue, security incidents that damage customer trust, and compliance gaps that trigger regulatory scrutiny. So in effect, the integration that was supposed to save 15 million a year starts by costing 8 million in incident response and remediation.
Exactly. And the approach that works is a phased and federated approach. It's a three-phase approach that we follow, each delivering measurable value before you move to the next one, right? So
Okay.
phase one is the groundwork where we lay the groundwork, and it's about connectivity and identity federation, which are the two most important verticals during mergers and acquisitions migrations, right? So you establish secure network connectivity between the environments. You connect VPNs or dedicated interconnects, transit gateway peering or Cloud WAN segmentation-based extensions. Then you also federate identity so teams access both environments with a single credential set. We call it identity coexistence before identity cutover or identity migration before merging the identity stores, right?
Mhm.
Active Directory Trust, Azure AD B2B, or AWS IAM Identity Center cross account.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it immediately enables the collaboration that everybody's looking for because engineers from both companies can work in both environments from day one of integration without anyone touching the infrastructure architecture.
Exactly. And this brings me to the next phase once we consolidate this, which is the phase two observability and cost consolidation. So, unified monitoring and logging across both environments, right? One Grafana, one Datadog, or one CloudWatch, based on whatever the tooling stack that the companies, the organizations are using, right? Any migrations that are involved for those stacks. And you consolidate cost reporting through a combined FinOps model. The CFO
Mhm.
sees total cloud spend with proper allocation from the first full quarter post closure, right? This is the financial visibility the leadership needs without touching a single workload.
Right, and that's the deliverable that buys you some time, right? Because leadership gets a combined cost picture and a clear savings roadmap. You haven't merged anything yet, but you've delivered financial consolidation already.
Exactly, Carl. And this brings me to the final and the most important phase, which is the phase three, which is workload rationalization, right? So no migration is complete without workload migration, essentially, right? Now you have visibility into both environments, real utilization data, real cost data, real dependency map. You make informed decisions about what to consolidate, what to migrate, what to leave in place. So we follow a tiered approach here, right? Three layers of the cake, as I call it. So tier
Hmm.
one, which is account and the subscriptions transfer wherever possible, is the fastest path, right? Wherever this is, or for the subset of the workloads where this tier one is not possible because of compliance requirements or due to workload nature, then we go for tier two, where workload relocation happens, right? Wherever in tier one it was not possible.
Hmm.
This brings me to the final stage where either subscription or account transfer is not possible or workload reallocation is also not required, where workload needs to be rebuilt for applications, right? That is an example that could be considering applications from, source tenant to destination tenant in AKS or EKS clusters. Every
Hmm.
decision is based on data, not assumptions from due diligence.
Yeah, and there's something about this phased approach that most integration leads miss because it's not just about reducing risk, right? Like each phase delivers standalone business value. Phase one enables team collaboration, which is hugely important to get people moving. Phase two delivers the financial consolidation that the leadership is looking for. And phase three delivers the infrastructure synergies that the whole organization is looking for. So if senior leadership asks for a progress update at month three, you have concrete deliverables, not a half-finished tenant merge that's just delivered nothing and can't be presented without caveats. The phased approach doesn't just de-risk the integration, it actually de-risks the entire narrative. Yeah.
Exactly. So this, brings me to the final aspect of this. Which are four things to, get right when you are trying to do a merger and consolidation. The first one is we suggest never merge tenants on day one, right? Because there is a lot of work that is involved before you actually move to the tenant merge, which is
Hmm.
first go for federate identity and connectivity, right? The infrastructure stays separate. People work together. We call it coexistence before migration.
Right.
Second one is deliver financial consolidation, right? The leadership needs a combined cost picture more urgently than it needs a merged infrastructure, right? FinOps visibility buys time for technical integrations to proceed correctly. Third one is deploy network segmentation between acquired and parent environments. And again, it's very important that we ensure that the new connectivity does not create uncontrolled lateral access, right? We want both environments to be connected, but don't want any security vulnerability to be injected because of that connectivity. You want
Hmm.
collaboration, not a blast radius that spans both companies, basically.
Right.
Last but not the least is treat rationalization, that is analyze which workloads to migrate, rebuild, or retire as a data-driven exercise, not a due diligence assumption, right? The workload migration decisions you make with 3 months or 4 months of real telemetry are fundamentally different from the ones projected in a pre-close integration plan. So this integration the integration that feels slower on paper finishes faster in practice.
Right. Because you never have to undo the damage of a premature merge, right? That's the difference between an M&A integration that delivers synergies and one that actually destroys them. Right. Awesome. Thanks so much, Devender. So everyone, listen, thanks again for watching. Don't forget, ZapSec helps companies modernize their infrastructure and maximize their ROI every day. We've been there and we've done that. If any of this resonates with you, we'd welcome a conversation on how to bring this sort of transformation to your organization. Visit zapsec.com or reach out to Devender or myself directly. Our email addresses are available at the beginning of the video.